wife and kids think I'm a little weird. I think I'm wonderful. Hopefully tonight you'll experience a little bit of both. Now, what I think is the most weird and wonderful in the world is just life itself. Because with life, it creates moments, it creates memories, and it also creates magic. So tonight, I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey, so maybe you can experience some of the magic I've experienced throughout life. Now, the first magic I really experienced was kind of like bizarre magic. It was storytelling. And that happened, Paul, at church when I was probably 10 years old, sitting in Sunday school, and our teacher told us the story of creation. Now, in the beginning, there was nothing. There's just a vast void. In this void, the universal being, God, the creator, or whatever you'd like to call that, was there. He was present, but there's nothing. As he weaved through the cosmos, which wasn't the cosmos yet, he realized he was all alone and wanted something. So then he spoke out, called forth an element, and earth was created. Now the earth was barren. There's nothing on it. He looked at that and saw all that was there, but thought, I can do more. Next he spoke out, and water came upon the earth. Oceans were filled, rivers started flowing, but there still wasn't enough. So fire was lit. Fire helped control the heat and the cold, made the earth livable. And as the last act he did, he cast his breath upon the earth, creating the winds that flowed through the trees, creating the breeze. And that's when the plants started to flourish, the animals in the ocean, the fish and that started to multiply, and animals started roaming the earth. He saw all this, and he was happy. All of this happened because he had his hand in the creation of it. But after he did that, he knew, just like any parent, he needed to let his creation free. So he wraps his hands around it, his arms around it, squeezes it, gives his creation a big hug, and sets it free in the universe. And with that, Earth was born. Thank you. Now, as a kid, there's all kinds of magic with our imagination and that. But I was really struck with one game as a kid that I absolutely loved. And who has a favorite game as a kid? I'm afraid to ask what yours was. What was it?
Clue.
Clue. Okay, that relatively benign. It still has murder weapons and stuff
Lawn darts.
Oh, toss them as high as you can and see how close you can get. Yeah, those were the good old days.
Yeah.
But anybody else have any favorite games or
Risk.
toys? Risk, yeah. Tag, although I didn't really like running games because if you look at this body, running's not my forte. But I did have one game that I was particularly fond of. And I still have some remnants of that game left over because that was quite a few years ago. Now, as the board and the box and all that started to disintegrate, I kind of made my own with the few pieces that was left. And it's a little hard to see on this, but on the top is this Monopoly board. As we would travel in the car with no seatbelts or anything, the back seat of the station wagon, sometimes sitting up in the back window, me and my sisters would play our own little mini game of Monopoly. Now, let's see, Brian, would you like to help me on this? If you can come up here. Now, I only have a few pieces left of the game. I have a die,
Okay.
and I have these, just dump everything out here. I have these 6 tokens, and I have one card left.
Okay.
Now, I firmly believe that if we love a game, just like other objects, we develop an affinity towards that game. There's one particular token in particular that I always scrambled to get. Did you have that when you played games? That if it was Monopoly,
Everybody wanted to raise a
well, yeah, that could be mine. Maybe it's not. But no, you're fine. But we all have that certain piece that we feel drawn to.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would like you to do is take all these tokens, and we're going to start, just put in a line here, starting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, yep.
So we're doing this right?
Yep, just in the order, or in whatever order you want.
Oh,
So we have number 1, number 2, number 3,
Yeah.
number 4, number 5, number 6.
mm-hmm.
And we would use this little mint tin to roll the dice. It'd be like our Yahtzee shaker. We put it in there in the back of the car. We'd roll it because if we try to roll it on the seat, it would go everywhere. And we got, I don't know if you guys can see it, but we got the number 2. And then we do that again, and number 4.
Yep.
And so on. Number 2 again. But as we would roll that, there would be all kinds of numbers that we would get. Sometimes it would be 5, sometimes it'd be 6, and that. But I want you to shake that up. Shake it back and forth, up and down. Just make sure that it's mixed up good. Because like I said, there's a certain token that was my favorite, and still after all these years, I believe there's still an affinity for it. And if you can open that up and see what number's on top.
3.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, and which token is this?
That's the hat.
The top hat. Pretty apropos for a magician, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, which I didn't know that at the time. But like I said, I have 1 card left. On that card, can you look at it and tell me if there's any of these tokens that are depicted on there?
Yeah.
Which one?
The hat.
Yeah, is there any
Well,
others?
no, how do you mean?
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
he's wearing the hat.
He's wearing the hat. There's no other
No.
one picture there. He's not in a race car. He's not on a horse or anything like that.
Wheelbarrow, no.
So even after all these years, my favorite token still is attracted to me.
That's cool.
Again, thank you, Brian. I kind of view the key to life as never to grow up, always retain some of that childhood. And my wife says I've done a pretty good job at that so far, right?
Yep.
Now, as I got older, my preferences kind of changed a little bit. Instead of games, I kind of started looking at girls, right? Unfortunately, they didn't look at me quite as often as I looked at them, but growing up, I heard a tale. I love stories. Those that know me know that I like to write. But there's a tale of the moon and the stars. For in the nighttime sky, the moon would travel through the heavens, but she was alone. She kept looking for somebody, but there's nobody out there. And throughout the night, she would search, but there's nothing. Then, when morning came, the sun arose. As he yawned and stretched and rose to his zenith, he would shine his light and warmth down upon the people and continue from east to west, surveying all that he ruled over. And this continued back and forth, the moon coming out, still searching, still yearning for somebody, but always alone, while the sun would rise, shine his light down, people would look up, worship him, and that. And this went on for generations to come until one day, actually one night, one of the little stars told the moon about some great being on the other side of the world. And once she heard about him, she yearned to meet him, and that was her desire. So she rushed as fast as she could across the heavens, didn't catch him. The sun came up, went on his way. The next night, same thing. She rushed, trying to meet him, but alas, their paths never crossed. This went on year after year, as the sun still ruled over the earth. The moon would chase after him, always getting closer, but the moon was always just over the horizon. And this continued on and on. But fate would intervene one day, and then, when it did, the moon, as she made her travels back and forth, suddenly the night became the day became the night, as both merged together, as they met halfway. The sun and the moon came together. At last she met her love. She stood there basking in the light. She was no longer afraid. She was no longer alone, for she found her soulmate. Even though they knew that they would need to go their separate ways, they vowed then and there that they would meet up again. For in the end, true love really does eclipse all. Thank you. Now, I've had the pleasure of working in emergency services, EMS, fire, 911, my entire life. I've seen the best of people, I've seen the worst of people, I've seen tragedy, I've seen good things happen. But through it all, I paid attention to the emotions that people have and what's really important in life. And I come to the conclusion there's 3 things that we all need to hold on to. And Sunny, would you be willing to help me on this?
Sure.
Okay, if you would be so kind as to have a seat here. Everyone give Sunny a And she comes from the great state of Indiana, just like me, so it's nice to have a fellow Hoosier here. So, Sonny, there are 3 things that I found are truly important in life, and I hope that you all agree with me. Those 3 things are faith, hope, and love. Would you agree with me that those are probably 3 of the most important things we can have? And you can look at these if you like. There are 3 solid beads, well, other than the hole that's drilled through the center. But, and we have, if you can just tug on the bottoms of each one of those to just make sure that they're solid. These 2 shoelaces, well, yeah, they're fuzzy. These are going to represent the trials and tribulations that we face throughout life, the struggles, the obstacles, the things that try to bind us down, that try to get between us and our faith, hope, and love. So, as life throws all those things at us, it may come in the middle of us. Again, trying to bind us down, make it harder. But faith, hope, and love have a way of getting us through the thick and the thin. Oops. Pull it up a little bit more. So, have you faced trials and tribulations throughout your life?
Most definitely.
I think all of us have. And while they're not easy to get through sometimes, though, if we have these 3 things at the center of our life, I think that we can pull through almost anything. So if you'd be so kind as to just hold your hand out and close your hand as if you're holding on to those 3 things. Okay, can you turn your hand over? So like I said, all these things that try to hold us down, that try to tie us up, put us in chains, and you can lift your hand off the table a little bit. Oop, no. If we keep faith, hope, and love in our lives, we truly can get through anything.
Yay!
So thank you very much. And again, it's always nice seeing a fellow Hoosier. I didn't think there's too many of us bizarre people in Indiana.
Not many.
Not many, but there's some. Now, I talked a little bit about moments, memories, and magic, about what happened throughout my life a little bit. But I want to see if there's a way we can create a special moment together. Would you guys like that?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to see if there truly is a perfect moment. And to do so, I'm going to need the help of somebody that has a cell phone. BC, do you have a cell phone?
I do.
Can you pull yours out? Okay. And this is one of the few times you want somebody's phone to actually go off during the show.
Yeah.
But if you can turn it on and pull up your clock.
Clock? Sure.
Yeah, or your timer, I guess I should say.
Sorry, I had it all.
Oh, you're being responsible.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's going slow.
It's going
the
slow.
new operating system.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Is it?
Clock.
Okay. So pull up your timer. And make sure your volume is up as loud as it can go too.
It's not doing
Again, something you normally don't hear in the middle of a show. Yeah, please turn your phone on as loud as you can.
That would be mine.
it. I say it, but it's new. I
Yeah.
just,
Okay.
here we go.
Joe,
As I
you
turn
got it?
Look at her.
Okay.
All right, timer.
And on your timer, put like 10 seconds on it. Make sure there's 0 hours, 0 minutes, and just 10 seconds.
Sure.
And just hit play because I want to see what your phone sounds like when it goes off.
You and me both.
Maybe we'll both be surprised.
You know, I'm afraid you might need somebody else.
Okay,
It goes,
well-
it goes
I
to
can
my
help you
hearing
then.
aids,
Okay.
so-
Mary, you got your timer up?
I can wait this one moment.
Okay.
I got it.
And set it for 10 seconds.
Okay, you got it.
And as you press play, please make your way up here to Mary.
You want it loud, you said, right?
Yeah.
That'll be good?
That'll be good.
Okay. Okay, start.
And actually, I'll just have you sit down here in the front row.
You wanted it started, correct?
Well, no, first I wanted to see just how loud it was, what it
Okay.
sounded like.
Okay.
We're gonna use the timer in just a little bit, but not right now.
You got it.
So, make sure I don't open this upside down and have it all tumble out. Now, I really don't like cards, but these are not, we're not gonna be using cards as cards. we're just gonna use these as a way to symbolize a moment. Because cards are actually perfect for that. There's 52 cards in a deck, 52 weeks in a year. There's 4 suits, so 4 seasons. So in this, we have, and I'll kind of just go through there. They're all, kind of mixed up, just like most of us here, right? A little mixed up, some more than others. But we'll shuffle those. Now, Mary, I'm gonna have you, as I go through this, just put your finger on one card. Do not, okay? No, don't take your finger off. Okay, that's the one you want? You don't want to go, okay. Keep your finger there because I want you to make sure that I'm not somehow taking another one. We're gonna you're gonna take that. I'm gonna turn, look at it, show people around me. When you have it concealed again, face down, let me know.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Okay. We'll put that back, and you can watch as we're just gonna kind of mix this up in the middle here. I'm not a card shark, so I'm not a shuffler per se, but we're just gonna kind of do a little bit of mixing here.
Yes.
So it is lost, so you do not know where it's at.
do.
I do not know where it's at. You know what card it is?
I do.
I do not know what card it is. But we're gonna see if we can create a moment here. Now on your phone, I want you to select a time anywhere from 25 seconds up to, let's say, 70 seconds. Don't tell me what it is. Don't start it yet, just put a number in. And what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you start the timer, then I want you to shut off the screen, so your screen is completely black.
Okay,
Okay, are you
Alright.
ready to do so?
I'm gonna start.
Okay, start
Start.
and shut your screen off, and if you can hand me your phone here. Okay, we're gonna set this right here. And we're gonna see if there really is such a thing as a perfect moment, because I don't know what moment you selected. You don't, well, you know what moment, but we're just gonna let and see if we come to a moment.
It's going off.
Right there, okay. So we got a moment that we stopped at.
Yes.
If it went off a moment sooner, it would have been the 9 of diamonds. If it went off a moment later, it would have been the 5 of clubs. Now, Mary,
Yes.
what card did you choose?
4 of hearts.
4 of hearts, okay. And you chose a time. I had no clue what time
Correct.
you did. But together, we've all experienced a moment together.
Yes.
And thankfully, it is actually a perfect moment.
That's crazy. Wow. Wow. Good job.
And again, my name is John Gilmore. I hope you've experienced a little bit of the weird and wonderful. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you can even have your phone.